Hey guys, my name's Jose Eduardo. I'm your host, and this is The Satellite. Today I'm going to be talking with two fellows from Generation Latino, Aaron Castillo and Dominica Gonzalez. Yeah. Oh my god, it's Aaron!
Hey Jose, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Yes.
Good.
So we're still waiting on Dominica.
Okay.
And then...
Whoa.
Oh, it's Dominica! What's up? How are you?
How did I get here?
Bro, it's magic, like, you know? So,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what your guys' organizations do.
So the Bell Policy Center is a research and advocacy organization in Denver, Colorado, and we basically focus on family economic security, retirement security, education and training, a lot of childcare issues, and
I work for the Colorado Fiscal Institute, so we deal with budget and tax policy, and then we also do a lot of policy advocacy and a lot of research.
This year, right, Governor Hickenlooper signed HB 216, which would have been stopped predatory lending. Tell me a little bit about 216 and what it does for what we call zombie debts.
so basically it protects consumers because a lot of times the debt collectors and debt buyers will come after these people with debt aggressively, and it really hasn't been fair in the past because they can take them to court with no evidence of this debt being the consumers.
Yeah, and the worst part is that before this bill was even passed, someone could have paid off that debt, and a debt buyer could have purchased this debt that someone has already paid off and still taken them to court.
And so that the bill changes that, and I'm very excited about that because I just feel like why can these debt buyers purchase bundles of debt for very cheap and then make so much profit off of it?
So one of the things that I know you're working on right now is a video project. Tell me about the project and just kind of tell me a little bit about like the people you're interviewing and what their stories are.
So yeah, we're doing multiple videos all about Trump's budget cuts. I just completed a video about SNAP budget cuts, and then I'll be interviewing someone who has children who depend on Medicaid, and when I was talking to her on the phone, she said that if she didn't have Medicaid, that she would definitely have to go bankrupt.
How are you guys preparing people for those cuts? Because I know both of your groups are doing stuff with the American Healthcare Act.
Yeah, interesting.
I think also researching what we can do at sort of every level. So like kind of breaking it down to even just Denver, like what we can do immediately in our community to help those that need it.
Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to do. You make it personal for everyone.
Yeah.
You say, hey, this isn't going to affect people in the next state over. This is going to affect people in your town. So, CFI, you know a little bit about TABOR, right? How does TABOR tie into with that kind of stuff?
Colorado is the fastest growing economy in the nation, like really, really doing well economically, but because of TABOR, we don't have spending to invest in, economic prosperity for low, moderate income people.
I know that there's a lot of spending power that the government doesn't have, so it's not able to fix roads or infrastructure or anything like that. And the thing about TABOR is that it has an artificial cap. So it doesn't matter how much money you collect in tax revenue, you're still not going to be able to spend it because it's capped off, and you set that cap when you're creating the budget, right? The JBC puts all of that together at the start of the fiscal year, and they estimate approximately how much they think it's going to take to run the entire state. And if you're outside of that range, you're not allowed to spend the money. Do you think that's a good thing? No.
No. I mean, if, we would all go out and participate and be really educated about issues, but considering that Colorado has one of the lowest education budgets per pupil in the country, that's just not really going to work for us.
I feel like we need some government intervention there because, the people who are going out to have their voices are like don't represent like a lot of voters in Colorado.
We make up a huge chunk of the population. The reality of it is that we don't get out to about. What do you think needs to change?
I don't know. I feel like before I say anything, I want to say that like I'm not entirely convinced that like the political system is going to save us.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
not
that's
either.
the problem with a lot of millennials have too, is like, why vote when it's not gonna fix everything? And I feel like I wanna, like, obviously voting is important, being involved in politics is important. I've advocated for Amendment 70. I know the importance of it, but like I don't think I could ever dedicate my life to just the policy aspect of. I'm really interested in like more grassroots approaches
Okay.
coupled with kind of policy approaches. Just
Yeah, and in order to get people to care about their neighbors and everyone else, we need to get them out of the cycle
Yeah.
of poverty.
Yeah.
And, because it's hard for someone to care about these issues when they don't even have the time for it.
Yes.
They're not going to come home when they have to feed 3 kids
Yes.
after being at work all day and just be like, oh, I'm going to go, save the environment, or I'm going to go help. They need the resources to be able to care about these issues.
For sure.
First of all.
So, a couple weeks ago, one of the speakers that we had, she talked about how being environmentally friendly was part of just being Latino. And so when she said that, there was a question mark above my head, because it's like, maybe. Because as a demographic, I don't think we're consciously being environmentally friendly. It's like, we're being financially and fiscally conservative, because you don't have the money to spare. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with you wanting to save the environment. It just happens to align with that. So,
part of that being environmentally friendly and, really putting your time into worrying about the environment, I see as a privilege. A lot of people, like I said, don't have the time for it or the resources, but I do agree that it saves a lot of money to be environmentally friendly.
Yep.
And, I think as Latinos, it has been ingrained into us growing up, and that's great.
And I think, in our parents' generation, there wasn't this big like environmental movement that these items, they take from the earth and they create waste. And I think just, more awareness about how climate change is affecting us just makes us realize that we can't just live in this house, be concerned about just our families, but we're all so interconnected. I just find it also really interesting that like in school, like elementary school, you're taught about like your personal responsibility to recycle and stuff like that. But like I didn't find out about like how much companies and huge organizations are really destroying our planet.
Yeah. Do you have any personal examples of companies that you don't support because they don't fall in line with your values?
Walmart, they don't ignore a lot of different labor laws, and also don't encourage unions, discourage them greatly. Chick-fil-A, they put a lot of money towards anti-gay organizations.
So the reason why everyone shops at Walmart is because low-income families, and then Walmart turns it around and uses the money that they're making off of these low-income communities to like pass legislation that's going to negatively yes, exactly. And so
a lot of times like low-income communities, they don't have, say, grocery stores close to them that are, good grocery stores, healthy food. It's not that they necessarily like want to support Walmart, but they don't really have another option, and the fact that it's super cheap.
Yeah, that's definitely why I think it's really important to advocate to raise the minimum wage even more. I know Colorado just passed that, but I think it needs to be raised even more to combat income inequality.
There's like the living wage and then the minimum wage, what's the difference there?
Well, the minimum wage is a minimum that you can pay someone, and then the livable one is the minimum that you're able to actually survive and thrive in your community and be able to afford things like childcare, a place to live. And what's really interesting is the minimum wage that we're at right now, it makes it so sometimes even if you work full time, you'll still qualify for government benefits. So it puts the burden on the government instead of on the companies that should be paying their employees a good wage.
I mean, obviously, economic security is important to millennials and whatnot, but you have to make them aware of like how it's really going to affect them, and pay off your student debt or housing debt, whatever debt you have. Just being able to live day by day without having to live paycheck by paycheck, and having to constantly be under the poverty line. That's not sustainable way to live. And we can change that is the thing. We need to, collect millennials and let them know that we can change that. Getting people to understand that we want change that's best for everyone as well. Low-income families, people with disabilities, people of color, again, they aren't just trying to like take the government's money and spend it just for them. We're trying to better everyone in the state. And having the diverse viewpoints and having the different backgrounds people come from, we need to hear all of those in order to create change and in order to get where we want to be.
I think that's a really good place to transition kind of into what you guys want other young Latinos to take away from your story.
I think that because we are such a vulnerable population, it's important for us to be at the table.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know what's going on, it's okay to ask questions.
For sure.
Because your experience is valuable.
When you're looking at the state of what America is right now and where we're at, I think it's easy to say, oh, that's too big of an issue for me. I'm too scared, or I don't have the resources to do that. But I think you got to start in your local community, even if it's just like for young Latinos at their high schools. You could start like a club that will advocate for some policies, or even researching on your own. You can do so much research on your own. I realized that it's not too difficult to get educated anymore.
You just have to start. I think a great way is get involved with canvassing, start volunteering with that, talking to people, understand, the community you live in or live near. Mm-hmm. But just start. I mean, everyone is so strapped for time that you can get involved and have more influence than you think if you just really want it and are dedicated. And
being proud of being Latino. You really, if you're gonna take a seat at the table, you gotta make a name for yourself. You gotta be proud. I'm proud to be Colombian. I know you guys are proud to be Latino. Mm-hmm. So we just have to show that to other people.
Yes.
And so they can feel our energy as well. And I just think that as millennials and Latinos, we bring fresh ideas to the table, and we are the future. In reality, we are the future. So
thank you so much for being here today, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
thanks.
Yeah. If there's something you want us to talk about, or if you feel we missed something, let us know in the comments below. Check out their organizations. We'll have links in the description below. So like, comment, and subscribe for more, and hopefully we'll hear from you guys.